Right. Let's have a look and see if we're live. Okay, right. We're going to first of all check the weather. It's a bit misty but dry. So I'm going to open the observatory, which we're doing now. And now I'm going to, well, let's just have a go, see if we can get right. So here we are. We're actually looking at a live star, which is Alpha Cygnus. And I will now do a long exposure after I've centered the star. We'll move it to the center of the display. This one. Well, we're fairly central now, and because we're actually on a high bin ratio, in other words, we're magnifying the light massively, it is looking quite bright. In fact, there's a reflection which you can see below the bright star. We'll stop that. We're now going to do a single exposure of 60 seconds starting now. Well, that was spectacularly unsuccessful. I forgot to actually put the tracking on. Never mind. We'll go back and correct that. Interesting thing is you can actually see a star, not a star trail, a satellite trail through the picture, especially if I reduce it. Oh no, sorry, I thought it was a star trail. What it is, it's the spike from the bright star in Cygnus. But well, basically, I'm now putting the star guider on, which will bring up some stars. Hopefully, there's one, although that's not very brilliant. I'll try and bring that star a bit nearer to the center of the image. Let's have a go. There we go. I think we should be right there. We now lock on that. We can actually check to see from the graph whether we're anywhere near locked on. I can see here we're quite good on the declination and the right ascension. We're not making very big movements. Will be not the best, but not too bad. So we'll leave that now gentering away, and we'll do another exposure, which should, I'll get rid of that because that's crap in the technical term. I'm now going to have another go. It's a bit slow waiting for the 60 seconds, but obviously quite often I do 500-second exposures, which basically you can start it going and go and have a cup of tea or annoy the wife or anything you like, and then come back and process it. Well, 48, 49, 50 seconds. Here we go. So we're now downloading. I think that's a bit better. Still got a reflection there, but that's a very bright star. If we just increase that slightly, I should be able to line that up normally, but it's one of the brighter stars. Let's have a look at it in colour. If I calibrate it and then switch to colour. Alright, so now you'll see we'll get a nice greeny tinge to it. That's because the filter is unbalancing the image. So what I've got to do is pump a bit of red into that. You can actually do quite a lot in Max. This is Maxing, by the way, the program. If I wind that down a bit, but you can actually see that reflection. That's quite nasty, though. But what's happening is I've got a filter in there which cuts out interference from LED lighting in street lighting. But unfortunately, the light bounces off that and goes back into the camera. You can, if you have a very bright subject, you can see the reflection. and the nearer you get it to centralising, the better it is. It disappears, but I'm a little bit off there. So let's choose a different subject, because 1 star is a little bit. Let's have a look at Andromeda. So we'll move the. Now what I've got to do now is stop the tracker, because I've moved the telescope. And we'll wait till it calms down, and then give it another exposure on the tracker, and eventually we should see. There we go. We're now, the telescope's now looking through the aperture in the observatory. So we'll give it another go, see what we've got. To be honest, I haven't checked to see whether I'm going to go for a short exposure to find out where we are with respect to Andromeda, because the tracking, I'll give it bin 4, multiple exposures. In other words, it will continually expose every 4 seconds, or 5 seconds, sorry. So we should see what comes up. And there we go. We do have Andromeda. You can just see the area around here. I'll centralize that. Just move the telescope a bit more there. I think this should move it towards the center. There we go. One more. And then one up. I think that takes it up. I'll take it down. Yeah, there we go. Right. So that's now pretty well central. And just so that the guider knows where we are, we just tell it we've moved it and synchronize it to that point. And the next thing to do is to set the exposure to a reasonable time. So we'll say 80 seconds, but not on bin 4, we'll do bin 1. Because this is like just taking a ISO 100 photo with your camera, only a very sensitive camera. So we start that off, boom. Something I forgot to do was redo the tracking. Stop. New picture. I have to stop that a moment. There's so many things to remember, it's a little bit. So what I'm going to do is look at this. This is what I'm going to do. I mean, that's right near the edge. I don't want to do that. I need to bring that over a bit. So I'll move it that way a little bit, probably be at a bit of an angle. One more. That should track nicely on that now. Okay. So we stop it on the tracker. There's quite a lot of things to remember for an old man. So now we're locked on, in theory, and we can take a picture. After 80 seconds, we'll get hopefully a half decent picture of Andromeda Galaxy. The problem is that 80 seconds is a long while, and astronomy or astrophotography is a bit like fishing. You just cast in and wait, which reminds me, I'm fishing tomorrow. halfway through now, and 40 seconds. It's a very consuming sort of hobby, because it's like all things that have got many variables. You're constantly trying to improve the result, but it's not something, you have to be very resilient and keep trying. We're on 78, 79, 80 seconds. That's our 80 seconds, and so we should be bringing up an image now of the Andromeda, and there we go. Oh, look at that. We've had a couple of satellites, or probably an aeroplane, going through the and this is the trouble with the photography just lately. I think that's quite a reasonable picture of the galaxy. I might be able to sort of improve that a little bit with I think, you know, the thing with the galaxy, this big white blob in the middle is millions of stars, a high density of stars, obviously all giving off some, it's like as though you've squashed all the stars in the sky into one blob. I've got a bit of adjustment I can do. That's called digital development, which basically what you do, you choose a dark part of the image, you choose a